beneficial factor of money, beneficial money, like beneficiaries or survival money or something like that. See here, I feel like somebody's trying to manipulate you out of money. Be careful of getting into the lion's den with a manipulator. There's a great deceiver. This is a great deceiver amongst you that's trying to play you. And see, this is somebody here that's trying to play you out of money. This could be tax money for some of you all, or whatever have you. All right, Holy Spirit, give me a few cards on this situation. What they need to know. I told y'all. Because somebody here is waiting. The Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, they're waiting and they're watching. They're praying on you because they know you are about to receive something. But those of you all that truly have hidden cases about your family, about money and things like that, it's almost like they're trying to lead you to it, but they got plans on getting this money from you or manipulating you out of it. Somebody who wants you to think that you and them are close. But look at here. Who is that? The devil. Somebody's trying to lead you in the lion's den. They are a devil in disguise, but they want you to think they're close. And the King of Wands, they are an opportunist. Now, some of you all, it's a person that wants to lead you astray, or they're leading you. It's like breadcrumbs of information being fed to you intentionally. I think somebody knows more about your life or looking into your life. I can tell you exactly who's doing that for me. They don't do it anymore, but baby, what they doing it regularly. They'll feed you a little bit and then benefit a whole lot from it. Feed you a little bit more, getting your energy, and then capitalize off your energy. Feed you a little bit, get a lot. One of those type of things. I can tell you exactly. They're very good at lying and manipulating and starting rumors, and they make their rumors look true. Your ex involved with somebody here. And see, it's your ex that a person has spoken to. I would never deal with nobody in my past ever again in life. I can tell you that. Your ex got in cahoots against you. Something like that. See, it's too much of manipulation. This shit right here. It's too much manipulation. And some of you are, it's a family component. That's why I got the spirit of Keto. I think somebody here is mixing messages intentionally. I don't know why, but I'm just going to say it. I feel like something about readers are involved here. And the reason why I'm saying it is because I see in my third eye a lot of cards being shuffled. A lot of cards being shuffled and read. Yep. See here, somebody who is trying to spiritually or religiously mislead you. Or they're using your ex to do so. Your ex is involved with the reader. Involved with the reader, pushed into a reader, but I think it might be a false reader. Unless your ex is having something falsely read to put out in the atmosphere to connect to you. You already connect this person telepathically, but see, this person trying to connect to a certain vibration of you. Hey y'all. I've been looking up today how to do cord cutting rituals. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Cutting cord, severing ties with a lot of people in my life. A lot of people who were in my life spiritually. A lot of people weren't there physically, but spiritually they were. Spiritually, they were ever so relevant. Spiritually, they were always hovering over me. Spiritually, people can tell you every single thing that I do, everything that I eat, everything that I wear, everything that I'm thinking. That's how connected they were to me. And it's getting to a point where I'm over it. And so I'm going to be doing some cord cutting rituals tonight. And I'm severing every toxic tie, every toxic person that was connected to me, who was only benefiting from me, where I really got nothing. It's like she was just saying, it's so funny because the person, like the breadcrumbing person, I can tell you exactly who that was. Because wasn't nobody in my life, in my world, who was feeding me little bits and pieces, knowing very well that they can feed me the whole thing of what's going on. But they would give you little bits and pieces, almost like treasure hunt. You get a hint and then you go look for the things. But
most of it I already knew. Like most of it I already had information on myself, from my spirit guides, my ancestors, from Holy Spirit, me being shown certain things. And so it's like all they really did was confirm things that I already knew. That's it. But I would appreciate them for doing it because, you know, me, I'm just a person who appreciates the little things in life. And so, being that everybody seemed to be against me, you know, if I felt like you was on my side, then, you know, I could appreciate a person like that. Unfortunately, you look around and realize a person may have been benefiting a whole lot more than you ever imagined off your energy. And so while you still sit kind of, sort of, in the same place, in the same situation, I say that, the same situation as it initially started, they done went from here to all the way up here with the stuff that they doing because they benefited that much from being in your energy, while you've benefited none from the information that they call themselves giving you. But I guess the whole purpose of it is so you can think someone is on your team and so they can get close enough to you to benefit off your energy. Um, yeah, I don't know. Keep saying family right here. Family. My family has had a lot to do with this, and they sit back quiet. They play the quiet roles that they play. They ain't gonna say too much of anything. Look, clout chasing. Because that's what they want. They want to be involved with certain people. They want to be known. They want to be seen with certain people here. And so, you know, people do anything for clout. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Stolen house. I just cut the deck on. I seen this house so long ago, y'all. 2, 3 years ago. Back when I was getting my visions. Now, I barely ever get visions now. I get messages in other kind of ways, but I rarely ever see something. Back then, I used to see things all the time through my mind's eye. It's like different things would be shown to me all the time, all the time. And the house is so funny. The house and the property on it, which appeared to be some type of farm property. So, just a very big piece of land that house sat on. In my vision, it was like I was standing on the porch of that property, of that house, looking out, and all I could see was all the land. From Looked like it could have went back for miles, just a bunch of different land. You could not see houses. I didn't see any other houses next to that house. All I seen was a bunch of land. But I was shown that a while ago. It says employees were on this. Employees are in on it. So you have family and employees, which I already figured they was in on it because my district manager was too quick to want to fire me. He looked back at something. He didn't even have his job for a year, and he was looking back at stuff from 7 years ago, trying to find something so that he can get that third write up real quick so that he can fire me. And even after I reported him and the things that he was doing, he still managed to be able to still fire me without them doing anything about it. And so I don't recommend public storage as a workplace at all, especially not the district in Tucker with the people who run it. It's not like, you know, it was already bad enough. I was there for 11 years making $10 an hour as a property manager. And I could be said to be the reason that property was making the money that it was making. But you know, when people see when they see a window open for them to jump through, for them to benefit from things, they take that leap. And so that's what I got harassed by my district manager. I got retaliated against when I did my job. I got people coming behind my back and messing up my property so that it can look as if I wasn't doing my job. I got, let me just say, when he first started, the first thing he asked, when the very first day I seen him and got to meet him, he asked, "What did you like and what did you not like about working there?" And so he knew that I enjoyed working by myself. And so one of the things he did when he wanted me gone, and I think, for a while, I feel like it was tactics being done to make me quit. Because one of the things he would do was fill my property up with people. And so every day I wake up and I have somebody else doing work on my property, somebody else in my office. These stinky, smelly workers, smelling like they've been working over the last 3 nights without taking a shower, sitting in my office with me all day long. I wake up and go walk outside on my balcony in my house coat, and the Spanish workers right there with their head right up there. It's like right there working by my balcony. So you think you're going out there by yourself, and the Spanish workers looking at you. You wake up to people beating on the fence, just banging on something. You look outside and they fixing a fence, something you didn't even ask to be fixed, something there wasn't even nothing wrong with. But when you report something being wrong with something, it's an issue. And so yeah, I always felt like they could have had something to do with this because of the way that they were acting. I didn't have that much drama until I think he's Spanish. Till he showed up, his little bitty self. They say people, little people, some of them who aren't healed have this thing called a short person syndrome, and they act out and they do weird things to try to exert their power, to look a certain way. Yeah, this one, it wouldn't surprise me if that manager, he had something to do with it. Everything he did was just sneaky to me, you know. And had they ever returned my call or my email when I reported him, then I would have let them know, because that's what everything he did was sneaky to me. Some people deserve to be managers. Some people work well with others, and some people, they just don't. They have no management skills. They just want to control everything. They want things to go their way. They don't have the ability to be good managers. For me, I probably went through 5 or 6 district managers over there when I was working for them. Never had a problem with any of them except for 2. And that was the last one who called himself firing me, and the one before him, Brittany, the woman. Boy, when I tell you, you think at the beginning with her, y'all, I gave her the benefit of a doubt when she first got hired. A lot of times they come there, they still be learning their job, and because you've been there so long, they exactly what they supposed to be doing. It's like their job a little bit better than them because they just starting, although they are supervisors, because Public Storage did not hire. And I don't know if it's something they started doing. I know they started creating positions so that it can give the illusion of someone being able to move up. But when they fired me, they did not hire from within. And so every district manager that came in would come from somebody else. And so a lot of times you would watch them go through training and come out of training and still be learning stuff you already knew, which made no sense at all. And so a lot of times they wouldn't know if it was stuff they could do, stuff they shouldn't be doing. And so you will watch, at least for the last two, them overstep their boundaries when it come down to things. And for me, especially with her, because it was the only one, when she came in, she was the only one that I've had that looked like us. She was the only one. And so I was kind of rooting for her. I was like, look, we finally get a black manager, a black supervisor. Although all the other ones that I've ever had was white, and we've gotten along perfectly. Like we didn't have any issues at all. We worked well together, actually. All the other managers, even when we disagreed on stuff, because they were professional and I was professional. We knew how to discuss certain things, how to handle certain situations, and then move on from it. And so, not that there was not any disagreements, but we carried ourselves like adults. And there was never any issues that arose from the disagreements we may have had. But this one came in, and boy, yeah, it's like all hell broke loose with her. When I tell y'all, she did everything possible to try to make me feel like I was less than her. She did everything possible to try to exercise her authority, to show that she was in charge. She did everything. And it's so sad because I was rooting for her. Like when she first came in, the people would talk about her bad, like the other employees, my other coworkers, that like they would do her so bad and so wrong. I would feel sorry for her. Even we would have these meetings over the phone, and she would go do this thing where it was like roll call. They would have the nastiest attitudes. The nastiest attitudes. They talked about her bad behind her back. And I would always tell them, when they would tell me certain things, because I learned certain things about her through them. Not stuff that I asked for, but things that they just wanted to talk about because that's who they were, kind of messy. And that's the way it got. That's why I stayed to myself 98% of the time, because I knew it was a lot of mess. But, things they would tell me, I try to have her back and be like, y'all don't do that to her, She not like that. Don't do her like that. Give her a chance. She just got here. She's still learning certain things. Try to work with her and not work against her. This is the only one of us that we've had since we've been here. I try to say good things about her and try to make people actually want to work with her. And it's so funny, they would dog her out behind the scenes. And at the end of it all, she ended up trying to, it's almost like dog me out. She ended up befriending the people who would talk about her like she wasn't nothing behind her back. But those were her best ones. Those were the ones with the raises. Those were the ones she ended up like this with. And she act like she couldn't stand me. And she would do stuff all the time. Rearrange my office. Give me extra work to do. Go through my orders that I put in for the store and take stuff off, and send other people to my property to take the stuff that I had extra of. And it's like she would do all. I can just go on and on and on. But it was her trying to exercise her power that she had over me. And I don't know why. It's like, because she didn't do it to everybody else, they would cuss her out in a minute. And I feel like that's why she didn't do it to them, because they ain't mine. They didn't bite their tongue at all. Me, I try to keep it professional. They didn't care. Okay? They just did not care. and she gravitated to them, and she kissed they behind, and she did me so wrong. But outside of her, all the other non-melanated managers that I've ever had over there, we've never had any problem at all. We work well together. Anytime they ask me to come in, I work for them. And I said that to say, when management is bad, it can cause you to react in certain ways. And so I got to a point where I never did overtime. Absolutely never. Anytime I was asked, I said no. Because why would I come in just for the extra stress that you're gonna try to place on me? I didn't mind coming in when it was good management, when we was all working together, but why would I come in just to deal with extra garbage from you? So yeah, good managers make a difference. But she just wasn't one. And neither was that one in particular that I ended up firing me. He just wasn't good. And I think they all still work there nonetheless. They all still work there, which is funny because the great management we had quit. They eventually got around to quitting every time. But the garbage, the ones who just was not good, those are the ones who make a career out of being where they are. It's like they fit right in perfectly. They gonna make a career out of it. When the other ones who were great management, it's like they was like, nah, we not gonna keep doing this. Um, and so they would leave. Anyway, I said all that because this card popped out that said your employees were in on it, and that was the last place that I actually had a job. After that, it's been hard for me to find a job after that. And so I don't know if it was stuff that they've been telling people. I don't know if it's rumors they've been spreading, but it's so funny to me because I had no problem getting a job, getting interviews, and offered jobs that I've turned down while I was working for them. Uh, Matter of fact, another storage company, I interviewed with them and they offered me a job making $6 more an hour than what I was actually making where I was. Only difference is I would have had to find an apartment because they didn't have any open ones available with them. And so I would have had to find somewhere to stay before I actually took the job, and I wasn't prepared for that. And so I had to turn it down. uh, and so it's so odd to me that when I leave there, now all of a sudden, I can't find any job at all. It's like I've been blacklisted from everything. Nobody will hire me after that. Nobody even wanted to interview me after that. Only interview I've been able to get was one where it was with an insurance company, and it's pretty much um, you working based off commission, and that kind of job is just not worth it to me. you know, because if you can't sell whatever product they have you selling, then you're not gonna make any money, and then you have to use your own gas, from what they was explaining, to go around because they do door to door stuff. It's not like you just sitting there cold calling. You walking around in neighborhoods and knocking on doors and yeah. Anyway, it wouldn't surprise me if my job had something to do with all of this because he was so quick to fire me. And he wanted me out of that apartment so fast. 3 days to get out of an apartment I've been in for 11 years. First of all, don't the law say you got 30 days? The law say because you are have agreed to be landlords and me as a tenant that you have to go through the whole process of evicting me. And no, because I've watched other people get fired from there. And when I say they took their time and forced them to go to court, they took their time. And that's what had to happen. They had to go through all the court proceedings. And eventually, by the time it was all done, it's like the person knew it was down to the last bit and they would go ahead and move. But you wasn't going to make them move out in no 3 days. And it's so funny. He had to ask about everything else that he did. It's like when he knew that I was trying to move out and I asked for him to give me something in writing saying how much I would be making once I moved out of the apartment. It took him about a week or so to give me what I needed when it came down to trying to find an apartment when he knew that I was trying to get out of that apartment. And so, like, who told you that you can give me 3 days? 3 days to move out of an apartment I've been in for 11 years. That's trash. It's garbage. But so was a lot of other stuff he was doing to me, and I kept a nice little record of it too. And when it came down to time, I reported everything. And for me not get a response back from HR, I really don't know what to think about that. It's like all the stuff I reported, both the harassment, the retaliation, and all the hazardous stuff that was left untouched on the property. Things that he was just refusing to fix inside of my apartment. But he had people working constantly on the outside of the place, like it was out of spite, because he knew that they would irritate me. And so they were in and out of the office, on and off the property. People having 24-hour access to my property. When I was hired, they told me nobody would have 24-hour access to my property. But now all of a sudden, everybody has 24-hour access to my property. So you can imagine how I felt about that. But he knew exactly what he was doing, because he would do things out of spite. And so them not fixing anything that I asked them to fix inside of my apartment was done on purpose. Including some nails, y'all. They did stuff like change the sign, painted the outside. They was doing all this work to the outside and would not fix anything in the inside. Just that like slumlords. One day they changed the sign and they put this sign up. They put it higher and it was like nailed into the outside of my balcony, and the nails was like 6-inch nails, and the wood they nailed it into was only about that thick. And so you had about a finger's length worth of nail sticking inside on my balcony where my grandson used to play in. About a finger's length worth of nails, anywhere between 4 and 6 nails just sticking out, the sharp part just sticking out on my balcony. And I asked them to do something about it, and they tell me just don't use my balcony. That's what he told me, just don't use it. Like, none of his training said that was hazardous. None of his training said he probably needed to fix that before somebody got hurt. He told me just don't use my balcony. My nails hanging out this far. Had any child been up there playing and accidentally fell, yeah, you can imagine what would have happened. But that's just how adamant he was about not fixing anything that I asked to be fixed inside of the apartment. But the more I asked to be fixed on the inside, the more they did to the outside. The more they did to the outside. It's his little way of retaliating. His little way of retaliating against me. Anyway, I'm going to leave that alone because I really want to find a lawyer when it comes down to that. Let's finish pulling these cards. It just made me start thinking, because I said employers were in on it. Employees, employers. And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. And before I even reported him, I tried to give him the benefit of a doubt by not going over his head. And I sent him this long 5-page letter one day, responding to him off why I record everything, because the person who cut our locks was concerned about me recording her. I record everything and everybody um, that I felt like was doing certain things against me. Um, that particular time, I don't think I was recording her exactly. I think I just so happened to be recording, and she may have walked in on me doing it or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know I wasn't recording her. But she may have been on the video because she was right there. But anyway, she got upset about it and called herself telling. And he asked me why, and he asked me to like so-called have documentation. He asked me to write it, to type it up and send it to him, and I already knew why he was telling me to do that, and so I did. I typed it up and I sent it to him, and I told him about everything that I was dealing with over on that property, me being harassed, me being stalked, certain people who come on the property, people who had access to the property that should not have certain access to the property, um, people who he've asked me to give the codes to so they can get on the property, that they should have been giving me the code. So it's making him feel at a certain comfort, but it's making me uncomfortable. And I'm the one who has to live there. You know, and you asking me to do stuff I've never had to do. Not only that, it's stuff that I was told that just would not happen. And now you come along and it's like you making up rules as you go. And I'm telling him all these different things of people I felt like was harassing me, all the people who show up on the property, all the 24-hour access that nobody has, all the random things that are going on the property, all of which made me uncomfortable. And so I sent him pretty much like this 5-page email, a 5-page letter, but in an email version of it. And he responds back to me in like 2 sentences and never made mention. It's like he ain't give a damn about the stuff that I told him. He just wanted proof. He just wanted something in writing, probably just to say that he asked me about it, that other people had complaints about something that I was doing, when the whole time I'm using my own security, because evidently there's no security around here, because y'all have backtracked on everything that was supposed to be there for safety reasons, and you backtracked on it all. And so it clearly is no security. Not to mention, you got people around here working on cameras for the outside, but they didn't even replace my inside cameras for the longest. And so cameras that were there, the footage has all of a sudden been lost because they've taken down the cameras. And then I asked them to replace the cameras, and he pretty much has to ask, I guess, had to see if the cameras could be replaced. He talked to the management before him, which should told the people that I didn't have working cameras, which I had working cameras from day one when I started working that property. And so for her to tell them that none of my cameras was working, and she asked me to check them at least twice a week to see who it was on the property, because they've gotten some type of alert. And that's just beyond me. It's like, wow. You would tell them there's no working cameras, and you know there was working cameras. Anyway, she was a mess. She was a liar. She was one of those put on a face when corporate comes in, pretend like, yeah, she one of those. Anyway, they all a mess over there. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it. You have to put up with a lot of stuff. And again, for me to just been making $10 an hour in the 11 years I've been there, I can do the job like the back of my hand, and you concerned about why I'm sitting here with nothing to do. That's because at the 11 years of being here, it don't take me 8 hours to do my job. It only take me about an hour and a half to do everything that I have to do. And so that's what we have is free time. And nobody ever complained about the free time we had, the time we spent in the office doing anything. Nobody ever treated us like we was fast food workers, where okay, when you done with the register, when you have no customers, go wipe off the tables, go sweep the floor. Like nobody ever treated us like we was fast food workers. But now here you come, and y'all concerned about the free time you have, because you should be appreciative of somebody knowing their job well, instead of upset because they look like they just sitting there. That's what we did. It's just that was like part of the job. When you wasn't outside, that's what you did. You sat in the office and you waited for customers to come. Some properties are more busy than others, and so that's what you have. uh, they're either going to be with customers regularly or they not going to be. But you know anyway, I can keep going on and on about that job and all the different things that they did, um, that particular management did, that was so out of pocket, that was against every rule that we were told. Everything we had in place for safety, for my safety, the person who's living on the property, is just, it's being bust wide open. Like they don't, he had no care for that. It didn't matter. It was all about him, what he wanted to be done. When I ask for something, then it takes him a week to figure out if he's able to do it or not. But when he wants to change something that's been a part of the policy for as long as I've been working there, when he wants you to go outside of what the rules are and just do what he wants you to do, he don't have to ask about that, because I can tell you, that's not how this works. That's not how it's been working for all these years. Matter of fact, it goes directly against what we've been told for all these years. I can tell you that. But that's not a question of yours that you bother to go and ask, because you know that you aren't doing certain things by protocol. You know you are shortcutting certain things. You know you are going against the security when it comes down to certain things that you're doing. You know that. But you're documenting everything that I do, that it's nothing. But like I said, he was looking for a reason. A reason. A reason to fire me. Especially after I reported him and he knew about me reporting him. It was like, things really shifted then. That's why I say normally, you send a report in, a complaint in, and HR is on it immediately. And the other people from corporate, other supervisors, the higher ones, come in and kind of mediate the situation. That didn't happen at all for me. It didn't happen at all for me. It's like it just pissed him off even more. And he just did more things to kind of retaliate. He did more things to kind of aggravate me. And like I said, I think it was to try to make me quit. But I didn't quit. And so he came up real quick with a reason to fire me. And so him having something to do with this, I wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me because it's certain, yeah. At that time, I was being spiritually and physically harassed by certain celebrities, certain popular celebrity. A matter of fact, at least she was popular back in her day, but they still have a name for themselves, especially in the community because that's where they are in the community. The local people know them as being certain celebrities. And so at that time, I was having issues with the harassment, so to speak, from them, or at least from that one in particular, one out of the party, one of them out of the couple of them was having issues with one of them, and just so happened they had spaces where I was ego. Just so happened they had spaces with the company that I work for, and just so happened people who all of a sudden got spaces at my unit had these let me see, we call them corporate accounts, and we would get a corporate account every now and then. And it wasn't my first one I've had at the property before. However, this was the first one that they gave 24-hour access to, that they had absolutely no contact information for, who had more than one space there, who had several spaces throughout the district, but no way at all you can get into contact with them. And I thought that was strange. And me putting two and two together, I figured it must have been those particular celebrities, because out of all the corporate accounts I've ever dealt with, we've always had some type of contact information, even if it was just the assistant being contacted. A couple of our accounts, we've had to change the contact person on it several times over again because people were getting fired from where they worked at. And so you always had somebody to contact, always. That particular one, not only did you give them 24-hour access to my property, which they were not supposed to have, but it was no way to see who it was, no name of the company, no phone number to contact them, no name of an individual who, nothing, absolutely nothing. Everything was just like cleared out. You had nothing. And I just figured it must have been them. And it just, it made sense why they would give them that much pull when it came down to the company because of who they were. But you still got to do your job. That's not, nobody's supposed to be able to have access to this property after hours except for me, because I live on this property. And so I don't care who they are, what they sing, or what they act, or whatever it is that they do. They're not supposed to have access to this property after hours. Um, Not only that, the gate code was even cleared out. It was like absolutely nothing you could verify on that account. All you know is it was a corporate account. All you know is they had several units throughout the whole Atlanta market. They had several units. You didn't have no access to a gate code, which means when they were late paying, you couldn't lock them out or anything. Again, they gate code, whatever gate code they had was 24 hours. And so they can come in at any time of the night, any time of the day by using that gate code. The units stayed empty for months, which means they had 24-hour access to the property and it was nothing at all in the units. So why did they even need to come back and forth on my property with 24-hour access? And so it was so many questions about that unit. But like I said, that management, he did what he wanted to do. And I could see them kissing butt to those people, the particular ones, because of who they were. But it should not have made a difference. But clout chasing. That's what people do. That's what they do. You don't give them special privileges and all kind of weird stuff. Yeah, anyway. Work wife, work husband. Hmm. Somebody must have been dating somebody there. I see work wife, work husband, and sugar daddy. Ooh, somebody was sleeping with somebody. Set up. Politics, communicating with the dead. So doing dark magic and sleeping with somebody here. Anyway, this reading was not supposed to be on public storage. I just was pulling to see what was in the energy. I've been talking way too long. I'm gonna stop this and come back. I'll be back.